All right, we're going in 3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome to the show. It is straight up and down here, 12 o'clock in Bentonville, Arkansas. And so you know what that means. You know what time it is. It's time for the Kendrick Shope Show. Thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute pleasure to have you all here with us. Yesterday, we had all kinds of technical snafus because it was our first show, and I am the producer, the talent, and everything else that goes on. I have no clue what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out, right? Today, we have got an amazing guest here with us, Hank Norman, media mogul. The man has worked with everybody, Grant Cardone, Oprah, the real live Oprah. He knows her. He probably has her number in his cell phone. Barbara Walters. He started The View. He's worked with Billy Bob Thornton. I could spend the whole show telling you who he's worked with. But instead, I'm gonna let him tell you all about it. But before we get there, we got to have a warm-up moment, right? And so we're gonna piggyback on yesterday's mom epic fail moment of the day. If you have a mom epic fail moment of the day, tweet me at Kendrick Shope or share on Instagram. What is your mom epic fail moment of the day? Because moms, listen, I know we're doing it backwards in high heels. It is hard to get it all done, and we need to commiserate over our epic fail moments. I'm going to share mine because I didn't get to share it with you yesterday on Instagram. The controls weren't working well. I just want to share with you what my mom epic fail moment of the day looks like because I just couldn't do it justice. All right. So here you go. This is my daughter's hair after she swam and went to bed without her mama brushing it. Now you may think, Hallian is 9, Kendrick. Come on. She needs to be brushing her own hair. But no, not my kid. She doesn't have normal hair. She's got this hair that just wraps around the strands and you cannot get a brush through it. And I know what you may be thinking. I've got this great brush. I've got this great product. Honey, I've tried it all. I spent $200 freaking on a hairbrush because I was promised no more tats, no more tangles. We still got this. This is my mom epic fail moment of the day. Share a picture of yours on Instagram and let's commiserate on what it looks like to be doing it backwards in high heels, being a mama, and loving on each other, even though we have some epic fail moments. All right, so I'm not going to waste any time. I am going to jump right in. I teased about it at the top of the show. We have got Hank Norman here with us live from New York City. I was sitting at Cracker Barrel last night because we don't have a stove here in corporate housing. And Hallian and I had to take Hallian to Cracker Barrel because that's the only place I know I could get her vegetables. Y'all don't know what Cracker Barrel is. Y'all are missing a great Southern pleasure. But anyway, and I thought, oh my God, I need to ask Hank to be on the show. Hank is one of my favorite people I have met in this online experiment, the entrepreneurial experiment, because he is the real deal. He is a straight shooter. There is no fluff. He's going to tell you like it is. And it is an absolute pleasure to have you here live from New York, Hank. Welcome to the Kendrick Shope Show.
Hello, Kendrick. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So a little bit of background about Hank's experience. I teased a little bit. You know what, Hank? I'm just going to ask you, what's Oprah like?
Let's see. I only met her once, actually, when I was at Oxygen.
Okay, only met her once.
Yeah, she ate one of my potatoes. She walked down. We used to call it the zipper because all of our desks were out in the open at the Oxygen network in Chelsea Market in Manhattan, and she walked down the aisle, and I was eating lunch, and she ate from my lunch, and we said hi, and she asked me what I did, and that was it. I mean, did I work with her directly? No. My wife probably did more because her dad was general counsel at Harpo, and Kathy interned there, but yeah, I mean, I didn't really,
cool.
Other than working at Oxygen and having Oprah eat my potato chip. I mean, I was on air with Gayle King. Gayle King and we were on air every day together for years, but yeah.
So what's that like? All right, we'll take Gayle. That's the next best thing. What's Gayle like? Tell us the Gayle.
Gayle awesome. I mean, Gayle, what I love about Gayle, which is the lesson that you teach and you embody, is this idea, which a lot of people have difficulty with for some reason, which is who they are on screen is who they are on camera. And a lot of people put on airs or try to act or perform or do this thing. and it's just not worth it. Like there's no there. And Gayle is exactly as she's talking on CBS every morning, as she dealt with everybody on air at Oxygen back in the day, now what, 17, 18 years ago. That's a skill. Learning to be relaxed in yourself on camera takes practice. It's not just something you get up and do, but that is Gayle is Gayle. The same person you see there is the same is true for Oprah. The people that have made it, Howard Stern's, Oprah's, anybody who's doing the job, as soon as they walk off camera, you really can't tell the difference between that. There is no difference. They are who they are.
That makes me so happy because Gayle's like America's best friend, because she's Oprah's best friend. So like everybody sort of adopted her. And It makes me so happy to know that what you see is what you get, which I've never understood how to do that differently. Anyway, I'm not smart enough to try to be somebody that I'm not. Like that would have to take some major skill.
It's hard and it doesn't pay. Like you might not remember, but back after The View, then Rosie's show got really big, and my mentor Ronnie Selig left The View and went and EP'd Rosie's show. And at the time, Rosie was notoriously in the closet. She had crushes on Tom Cruise, and everybody in the TV community knew Rosie was gay, but she had to play this role of, being a woman in love with Tom Cruise and playing that whole thing. It was a hard shtick to me. And the queen, dude, Rosie was the queen of nice. Don't forget.
I can't. I believe you, but I don't remember it.
I mean, she was playing. That was a role. She was playing a character. So either you're playing that character, which some people choose to do that. But that's hard to do. That's a job. Like I honestly don't know how. I don't teach people to do that. I don't know how to do that. Like I don't care. Like if you want to go play a character, then go take an acting course. I don't have any idea how to teach you to do that. Do I know how to teach you to be more authentic about who you are and what you believe in and how you want to help people? Yes, then I can help you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So one of the things that you referenced Howard Stern, I just have to make a quick confession right here. It is my husband's like ultimate fantasy for me to be on Howard Stern. He listens to Howard Stern every day. He comes in telling me, he'll be like, you got to listen to this interview when you're working. He has the biggest male crush on Howard Stern. I'm like, baby, one day I'll do something scandalous enough to where I'll get Howard to invite me on. But I wonder, Blake and I have always joked about what the dinner time conversations are like around your house, because you work with people or have worked with people that most of us would pay money to get next to. Your wife is a big shot at ABC, GMA. I mean, do you all just have normal conversations, or are you like, oh my God, did you hear what Jennifer Lawrence did that we can't tell anybody else?
Yeah, I think it seems normal to me, but I mean, we do almost only talk about TV. She's in TV, I'm in TV, or this new version of television. So our conversations do center around what's going on at work and around the town, like normal office gossip, but it's about what's going on in the industry. So feels normal to me, but maybe a little, it could be, I'm sure some people would find it very interesting.
So the next time we're at the supermarket, as normal women, we're at the supermarket, we might be, snacking on our cookies, and we see the tabloid that such and such is having an affair. You now know Hank Norman probably knows. You know who to go to find out the scoop. Not that he's going to tell you, but he knows.
Right.
So let's shift gears here a little bit, because you referenced where I really want to take the conversation, which is this new version of TV. Tell everybody what you mean by that.
Well, now everybody has a TV. Like we watch and consume television and media right in the palm of our hands. I mean, visually, I've been even looking in the past couple years on the subway, just riding to and from work. And it used to be very little people on their phones. Now it's about 90% in Manhattan on a subway. You look down and everyone's sitting and standing. Everyone is plugged in. Everyone just used to stand in silence, and some people used to listen to music because that was the only choice, right? You're listening to your Walkman or an iPod, whatever. But now that everything's on this phone, including all media, Hulu, Netflix, people download. I look at people's phones because this is the business I'm in. I'm interested in what they're doing. And so 90 to 100% of the people are on their phones, and I would say 50% of those people are consuming media. When I see and my random bizarre sample, which is a complete cross section of Manhattanites from people from every income bracket, 50% are watching movies. A lot of people, shockingly, are watching movies. Like, I don't think a subway train is the best place to watch The Matrix, but they are watching movies. I look at their phones, and they're playing, like, everyone's playing Candy Crush.
Yeah. Candy Crush. Have you ever played Candy Crush, Hank?
Yeah, on the iPad. I don't play any games on my phone because I'm too busy, but I don't even have a game on my phone, but everyone's playing Candy Crush.
I've never played it, and I was so freaked out the other day. I was in Tennessee, and I was home, and my mom said to my 9-year-old, to Hallianna, y'all know Hallianna, can you help me get past level whatever on Candy Crush? And I was like, what is wrong with this picture? Like, my mama is asking my baby to get her past the level on Candy Crush. Like, the world has gone bonkers. But I've never played it, so I'll reserve my judgment for after I play it. So this new form of television, this new form of media that's really come about in the last, how many years? 5 years?
Yeah, I was a cross media producer at Oxygen in 1999. So the idea of television and the internet crossing over, I tried to teach it and embody it and was on air teaching those very ideas in 99. But I really think 15, 6, literally, I would say the past 2 or 3 years, like Netflix just added that function. Like we just found out when we're taking Charlie on a plane, you can now download an entire movie to your iPad from Netflix. They didn't allow that for like a year, however soon that was. Like the phone and your thing wasn't the only source. Like this whole idea of the TV still referred to as the first screen. It's just not true. Your phone is the first screen, obviously.
Without a doubt. 100%.
I don't even know how. It just happened so fast that people still refer to TV as the first screen because the revolution has happened so fast in the past 2 or 3 years. And now everyone all day long is on their phones, whether it's games. And so the other part of what I see people on the subway, they're consuming video and other people's streams on Instagram. They want to be part of people's lives. People are only consuming their media on their phones. I mean, I know people that don't have TVs that watch everything on their computer or their phone.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were in corporate housing earlier this year in Greenville, we didn't have cable for like six weeks. There was an issue, and we just plugged our computer right into the TV because it was bigger, but it all streamed right off the computer. So there's a huge lesson here for anybody who is running a business, for anybody who is wanting to be famous, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I mean, people are on their phone all day, every day. So if you're not putting out content, you're missing an opportunity to be in front of customers, to get discovered, to do what you want to do. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think the leap is from this idea of, okay, so everyone's consuming and using their phones. Great, got it. But what does that mean to me? And what that means to you is there's an opportunity there. And by opportunity, I don't mean it same sense of there's an opportunity for you to boost a post on Facebook, or there's an opportunity for you to take out an ad in a magazine or a paper or be on the placemat of your local diner. This idea of participate, like the participation level has become mandatory. Like from Facebook to Instagram, everybody's sharing their stories and interacting and staying in touch that way. To now realize that obligation has bridged the gap over to your business and that you have to start sharing of who you are and what you do in the same way that you were kind of doing or half-assed doing on Facebook with your friends. You now have to do with a wider lens that you're doing it as an entrepreneur going, how do I actually get more people to know me and my business? And here's the thing. Well, I no longer say it's free because I don't want to get people misunderstanding, because the time and effort is there's a value there. And this idea that because you're not paying for advertisement anymore, you're not paying somebody to do your promoting, but you are paying. You got to put in time to get good at this and get practice at putting you and your information out there. So there is an expense, and it's time and effort.
So let's say people are watching and they're like, okay, great, I'm bought in. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to believe that everybody's on their phone, right? All you got to do is look around. Yep. I'm bought in. I need to do this.
Here's the gap, though, Kendrick. Yeah. I'm bought in that everybody's consuming media on their phones, to this jump for people to say, I have to participate in that world. That's where all the stories come up.
Like what kind of stories?
Oh, my God, dude. This is the problem. everybody know, we all know the answers. We know diet, we know exercise, we just don't do it. This is that. Everybody knows it's out there, your phone's in your hand, you could do this, you should do this, but you're still not going to do it.
Yeah.
How many people are listening to this? Even the single person, even you're sitting there going, I know I need to do this. Going to take zero action today, tomorrow, the next day. None. Zero. Fear.
Yeah, that's true.
Fear, because this whole what transcends down now to this lens is this idea that you read occasionally or used to read a lot more before social media, which was fear of public speaking was the number one fear that everybody had in common. More than root canal, more than death, more than like the number one fear of everything. Like sharks, flying, spiders, everything. Fear of public speaking is and was number one. So whether you admit it or understand it, what everyone feels when they press record on this live video on their phones, that whole idea, that fear of judgment, of saying something awkward or weird, getting teased, and then people make up all these stories of I don't have to do it, or I'm going to do it later, or all the diet / exercise New Year's resolution excuses come up. So
yeah. So for our audience, I have a confession to make. Hank and I were texting before the show today, and we were having this conversation about fears. And I texted that I wanted to be famous. And Hank's response was, why do you want to be famous? And I was so triggered at that moment. Like I got sick at my stomach. All this fear came up, Hank. Embarrassment. It's selfish. I can't believe you just texted that to somebody you respect so much. Like all these stories came up. And I've never had a fear of public speaking. But the minute I texted that and you texted back, why? Instantly, I was like, this is how other people feel when they are going to press record. I've just made this big confession that this is what I want. And I think I have pretty damn good reasons to want it, but still, it's what I want. And so talk to me about that. How do you overcome that? Even if it's the fear of pressing record, is it the fear of saying what you really want? Like you coach people through this all the time.
Now go that one step further. What is it for you that what's embarrassing about admitting that? Where does that come from for you?
It feels selfish. It feels like
Why is that bad? I
don't know. A great coach once told me that you're not allowed to say, I don't know, that you should always know the answer. Maybe I was raised to think that it's selfish. I don't know. So I'm a little bit, I get a little bit fired up when we talk about this industry because everybody says they want to help people. I want to help people. I do help people every day. You help people every day. But if it was only about helping people, you could go down to the local food bank and help people for free. So there's this balance of admitting, yes, I want to help people. Yes, I want to make a lot of money. You know what? That opportunity I had to be on Steve Harvey was one of the best freaking experiences of my life. I want more of that. And if that's what it takes when you're to be famous, then okay, great. So it's more of a feeling state, I guess. I was fortunate enough to have that experience thanks to you. So, but I want more of that. It felt good. I loved it. I liked being picked up in the black sedan. And for those of y'all who don't know, this is a great story. When we were on Steve Harvey show, you're treated like royalty. You go in, it's a green room, they've got food, and then they're done and they walk you back out and you go back and you're like, oh shit, it's back to reality. I got to hail a cab and nobody cares anymore. It was fantastic. It's like the best of both worlds. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So here's the beginning of the answer for me, that what you just described to me, which I think a lot of people do, as two separate ideas. I want to help and I want to be famous. I don't see them as two. You said you have to strike a balance. That's interesting. Okay. That's not a reality to me. That's not how it works.
So how does it work?
They're the same thing.
Being famous and helping people are the same thing?
You can't help people unless people know you.
And that's why I want to French kiss Hank right now, not in a sexual way, because I love him. Like, look, yes, you cannot help people unless they know you. Yes. So all right, great. So all of a sudden I don't feel selfish anymore. I feel like it's my obligation.
Let's start there because that is the root of it. So this idea of the narcissism of recording yourself, this idea that was huge in social media circles and in tech talk, the narcissism of the selfie. How the selfie was going to change culture people have forgotten this because it's like the Y2K. When something doesn't happen, you forget that there was this hysteria. But I don't know if you can remember back to Y2K. Everyone was literally like, the stoplights are going to stop working. Like they thought the world was going to come to an end. The same idea came about when Instagram and other apps were promoting this idea of where the selfie was invented. That for the first time in culture, you're taking your own picture. That never happened. Like, look at any home movies or pictures. You look through my pictures, the only person missing from the pictures is me. You're the photographer. That all changed with the ability of flipping the phone around and taking pictures of yourself. And what happened was this onslaught of negativity around the idea of being selfish and narcissistic enough to want to take your own picture. That's a real thing. We judge people on this idea that wanting you to be the center of anything is a psychological problem.
Yes.
That's not true. That's society. That's upbringing. It's more women than men. That's a woman's issue. What you have is not uniquely a woman's issue, but is predominantly a woman's issue. And women will throw it at other women. That what you're describing to me is you feel social pressure to want to fit in, so you can't declare this thing you actually know and want more than anything. And you know they're tied together. Wanting to be famous isn't just wanting to be famous. Like I just fielded somebody on Twitter yesterday that was like, this idea, I don't think there is any such thing as fame for fame's sake, because it comes with so much. Like, whether it's positive or negative, the baggage, wanting to be famous, whether you get it or don't get it, and whatever that means to you, it comes with something. And if you have the intention behind it of being an entrepreneur, there is no shame in that. Wanting to sell your product, a lot of people don't like to sell. You're getting to the core of your brand.
Yeah, you are.
This is the fear of self-promotion.
Yeah, there you go. It's funny because I can remember our very first sales school. One of the people in the very last class it was actually all audio then, no video. It was all audio. So that tells you how far we've come. That was 5 years ago. She raised her hand and she said, I feel better about selling myself, but I still feel really gross about self-promotion. And I remember saying, my dear, they are one and the same. Like, everything you've learned applies to self-promotion. You know, it's all one and the same. And so it's interesting that I could see that so clearly in other people, but it's just like anything else. You don't see it yourself. So for anybody who's watching, Hank, I mean, obviously, let me just remind you all, I know this is we haven't been on for a long time, but if you're going to listen to anybody, me included, if you're going to listen to anybody about how to get famous, how to have the platform to be able to help people, it is this man. I mean, he is a who's who among Hollywood and entertainment elite. So for people, regular people like me, who are afraid, who have this fear, for women, what's step number one? What do they do?
Step number one is the simplest and the most difficult, is understanding that your phone is the tool to overcome that shyness and that block that you have, that society gave you, that your mom gave you, that your husband gave you, that your friends are going to give you. Because here's the thing. Not only do you have the fear of initially pressing record, but pressing record, recording yourself, and then posting that, the feedback you're going to get initially is going to be negative to some degree to you. You're going to be some negative dissonance of like, this is not something I want to continue. Because it's not about you reaching a newer audience or having people get to know you. It's those people that are already in your circle and closest to you now criticizing you. So the first step is just staying in the game of creating content. And it doesn't have to be onerous. This isn't about creating a new show. This is about making what I started to do because of Instagram stories is now 15 seconds. That muscle of taking those 15-second increments and using them as building blocks of honing messaging, honing what you stand for, honing helping people inside that 15-second window. That 15 seconds using Instagram stories is the perfect media gym. You can show up in the course of your day. Like, this isn't about finding time to go to the gym. This isn't about buying the right foods to eat. This is you have a phone and you have Instagram, and in the upper left corner is a button. Press it, and you have 15 seconds to come correct. You have 15 seconds to say something impactful, important, interesting. And guess what? It's going to go away. It's the perfect version.
Yeah.
You get to work it out. You have 15-second blocks and increments to figure out how to get famous, how to get known, how to connect with people, how to convey who you are and what you stand for. And that muscle of actually doing it and getting in a feedback loop with your audience builds the confidence you need to see that it's not selfish to aspire to have more people know you so that you can help them.
Yeah, so I have a confession here for our audience, and some of you have been with me long enough to remember this, but when we first started, and Hank, you probably, before we started working together, saw some of these videos, but when we first started, I didn't have this complex as much about what people were going to think. I filmed from our bathroom at our house in Chicago. I sang terrific Tuesday tip of the week, and my husband would be like, oh dear God, stop that. And I'm like, no, I am memorable when I do that. But when we created some success and we got known, we built a platform, and then somebody I really, really, really respect in the industry said, you have to stop that. You're making an embarrassment out of yourself. And that one comment haunted me for 2 years. And I went on this journey to try to figure out, well, what is the balance of me being me? Kind of like what you were talking about. I said I didn't know how to do it, but actually, if I look back, I tried to be all these other things so that we would connect to more people. And then Two Market Media entered my life and everything changed again. And they're like, no, go back to that. Go back to that, to being you, to just being comfortable. But I needed permission from somebody I trusted to do it. I think I'd still be on that hamster wheel of what the freak do I do now? You know? So it's interesting when we decided to start this show. Hank was present during the conversation and said, I want a talk show. I want to do it. And Two Market said, great, go live every day. Commit to that, do it, learn, cut your teeth. And I was like, and I'm not sure that Steve thought I would do it. Maybe he did. I was like, okay, done. And so here we are. That's how the Kendrick Shope show was born. And I have to tell y'all, I am having so flipping much fun doing it. Whatever it turns into, I haven't had this much fun in my business in years. So, I mean, it's evidence, it's proof to everything you're saying. I'd love to know, audience, your thoughts about all this. If you've got questions for Hank, tweet us at Hank Norman or at Kendrick Shope. I'll make sure Hank gets them. You're not going to get an opportunity to ask somebody this brilliant, a media mogul like Hank, questions too often. He's also got a Facebook group that I will, I'll post the link to when we're done. But at Hank Norman on Twitter or at Kendrick Shope on Twitter, let us know. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What do you think about this idea of pressing record? Can you do it, ladies? It's scary as all get out. Hank, before we close the show, we have this, and this didn't work yesterday, so we're gonna try it here. Let's see if it works. Oh, it's not. Okay, so that is I got the magic stick. And what is today's magic stick? Today's magic stick is where we talk about one product, one something that I am head over heels, want a French kiss. That's my new saying. I want to French kiss it. I am in love with. And that happens to be, I'm gonna tell you all what it is. Give me just a minute, because again, I'm the producer. I'm the producer here too. So it is Hank Norman's Star Power. So Hank has a course. Actually, I teamed up with Hank and added a little bit of sales skills into this self-promotion. We'll post this link for you, hanknorman.guru star-power 2. We'll post this link for you. But you want to learn from the master. If you want to learn from somebody who is going to help you, A, get over your fear, B, create success like you have never known. Example, being on Steve Harvey's show, get book deals, increase your Twitter following to 7,500 people when it was only at 1,000. Hank Norman is the person to do it. That is your magic stick for the day. Yeah, I got the magic stick. Hank, this course, I've seen the inside of it. I've actually referred customers to it, and I have gotten thank you emails saying, thank you so much for introducing me to Hank Norman. Thank you for Star Power. It's amazing. You get a little Kendrick in there too, a little bit of sales stuff in there too, but I think we make a damn good combo.
I agree. And what I've heard is you not only is your stuff really necessary, because what I do is I kind of go inside, and mine's a lot of, strangely for someone claiming star power and get attention, a lot of my stuff is very internal, I get a lot of emails about, it's not to sound like complete bullshit or hyperbole, but it's life-changing. If you do the things, and I have put more time and effort, in all honesty, into this course and designing it and making sure the pieces work when I'm not in the room, because as a coach, and if anybody's a coach, they know a lot of the work of a coach is I pull things out of people when they're in front of me. Working with somebody is very different than having someone do those assignments by themselves. I put a lot of time and effort into coming up with ways of having people do things I would normally extract from them and getting them to access themselves. And the feedback I've gotten from those ideas of getting people on mission, from getting their story of origin, from having them really figure out who they are as a person, as an entrepreneur, and what they're actually selling, picking the thing they're going to stand up for, makes people change. It changes businesses. I've had people change their entire lives and businesses around working the process of Out Late. And here's the thing, it might be only 5 or 6 hours of me talking. It's going to take you don't take this thinking you're just going to get through it and you're going to be done. This isn't a book. It's not an audio book. It isn't just listen to me or listen to Kendrick. This is, if you really want to dig in and change your business and really start to make money and get attention, then this is for you. That's the difference. This is not an audio book. You can't just listen to me talk and then you think something's going to happen. It doesn't work that way.
There ain't nothing passive about Hank or Kendrick. I can tell you that right now. And you team them up together and you will absolutely get results. But there's nothing passive here. It's going to push you. It's going to require you to do the work, right? And it starts with pressing record. I'll tell you all, for those of y'all listening, one of the first assignments, and I say assignments literally, that To Market, Hank's company, had me do was record these 90-second videos where I was giving my opinion. And I wasn't allowed to say, hey, welcome, it's Straight Up and Down Noon, I'm Kendrick Shope. I had to start with an opinion like, just as an example, Donald Trump is an idiot, and I had to defend that. Or women are better than men, and I had to defend that. I'm using those as examples. Don't tweet me and say that was mean. I'm using it as an example. I might be able to defend it, but that's not what we're doing here. It was so hard for me. Like the beginning of just leading with an opinion was so hard. Revolutionary in my business, revolutionary to be able to learn to do that. But it was assignment number 1. And they said, record 5 videos giving your opinion. And I was like, okay. And I would record them. And then the feedback would be not firm enough, not firm enough. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm telling you, this works. The transformation that you've seen in my business over the last year and a half is a direct result of what I have learned from To Market. And I've said this over and over. I love to sing the praises of people who helped me out. But the book is a result of them. Being on Steve Harvey is a result of them. This show is a result of them. My newfound confidence is a result of them. And I remember, Hank, when we first, we'd probably known each other for a couple of months. And we were talking about how impactful this was. And you said, Kendrick, I've had people tell me their sex life has improved since going through this process. I mean, it really is life-changing, not just business-changing. You hear that all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole, it just like you said, here's what I don't want people to miss, because it's the important part. You are an opinionated person. I literally had someone tweet me the same thing today. I can't remember what I tweeted. They tweeted back and said, I am an opinionated person. I went to their feed and I scrolled through pages of tweets, not one opinion. So you can be an opinionated person. You can think you're opinionated. You can be opinionated. You can have opinions. Guess what? That does not mean you're giving them. And that does not mean you understand the power of leading with them. That does not mean you understand that that is a marketing tool and necessary and something you have to learn to do. The most opinionated people, you and some cat that just tweeted at me that swears they're opinionated. I didn't see a single opinion in their entire timeline, not one, but they swear they're opinionated. So why are people not giving them? Because it's not right, because it doesn't feel like the right thing to do. But in the media, in the world I came up with, only working in television my entire life, if you're not starting with the thing that differentiates you, how you're thinking and how you're going to make a difference, if you don't start with that, the headline isn't killer, no one's paying attention. That's media training.
That's absolutely right. We teach this in sales school. I'm getting ready to start preaching, but we teach the most important part of any email, of anything you send as the subject. Doesn't matter how good the copy is inside. If I don't want to open it, you're done. You're lost. That thing has got to grab attention. And when you start to think about your whole business that way, not just email subjects, but your tweets, your Facebook posts, your videos, everything you put out. And that is something that I have really seen through working with you. Everything changes. I mean, your Twitter followers go up, your Facebook fans go up. You sell your courses with more ease. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's all a numbers game. The more people on your list, the more you're going to sell, period. Doesn't matter. That is true.
I have to share this story because it is the most phenomenal for me. At last year's 10X Growth Con, I met a woman. Her name on Twitter is Lisa D at CT. Lisa D at CT. Yeah, Lisa Donnan. And she's a comedian from Connecticut. And she literally had hundreds, 200, 500 followers. And she's like, what should I do? I'm like, dude, stop telling jokes and start having opinions. The last time I looked at Lisa D from CT, last time I looked at Lisa D's Twitter following, she had about 20,000 followers.
There you go.
All organic, because she just changed how she was delivering her information. She became, over 3 or 4 months, she became, like, now she's doing stand-up gigs at Mohegan Sun. She became a comedian by having an opinion rather than just trying to make a joke.
There you go. It's what I call having an opinion and having a platform. You build your message around that opinion, right? I mean, over and over and over. That's what celebrities do. That's what we see people do. They have an opinion and they defend it and they build their platform, and all of a sudden everybody wants to talk to them about it. And all of a sudden they're everywhere. So you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Have an opinion. Don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to press record. It is your obligation to help people. I'm going to take it one step further and say it's your obligation to be famous. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? Boom, mic drop. Hank, thank you so much for being here on the Kendrick Shope Show. We end the Kendrick Shope Show, and I'd love to ask you to play. We end this every day. It's our second day, but we're going to end this every day with me making a commitment to the audience as telling them one thing I'm doing every day to push my dream forward and making this talk show get picked up by a network. And the audience is then asked to tweet us, excuse me, one step that they're taking as well towards their dream. So, Hank, what step are you taking towards your big dream?
I have made the commitment to, and I encourage you to do the same thing. I'm using the hashtag 15 seconds to fame, 15SF, 15 seconds STF, whatever the hashtag, not written out, 15 seconds to fame, but you'll see it. People are using it. This idea of taking Instagram and using that 15 seconds and making the commitment to not find the time, you have the time to press record. And when you realize it only takes 15 seconds to articulate your opinions and your thoughts, it's an elevator ride for me. It's a walk to the subway. I can find 5 of those a day. I'm committed to making 15 seconds to fame the building blocks of me building my audience and getting better at communicating my ideas and helping people through
I love it.
The media.
I love it. So here's my commitment. It's going to piggyback right on that. Hashtag 15STF. 15STF.
16, 2 fame, 2.
Oh, 2, the number 2. Oh, see, 15S2F. All right, we'll put that in the comments for y'all too. I'm going to do 5 a day. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do 5 a day, because if Hank Norman says do it, trust what the redhead says and do it. You will want to French kiss me. Trust the redhead. Hashtag 15S2F. Go do it today. Tweet us at Kendrick Shope, at Hank Norman. Let us know you did it. Let us know how it felt. Give us your opinion. That's what this is about. Hank, give Steve a big hug for me. Tell everybody at 2 Market I said, what's up? I'm ready for it to come visit again.
Nice.
Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Kendrick Shope Show. And I would be remiss if I did not play our outro, because we've got one. I believe in you and I believe in your business. Press record. Let's go. And if I had a producer, there would not be this awkward pause.
I like it.
You know what? It's not going to play. So we'll just pretend.
I like it.
We'll just pretend. Thanks for being here, y'all. See you tomorrow. Bye.